because it truthfully just slows up issues. So I want to thank each and every one of the workers who are out there and ask the public to thank them in the best way that they possibly can, which is don't hinder their operations by getting in the way as we clean up the roads and try to respond to emergencies as they occur. As Charlie noted, we are moving vehicles. We are towing those that we can, as long as we can get the tow trucks down the road. They will be moved. So if you abandon a car on a major arterial highway of Erie County, you should not be going to try to get it right now. There's a good chance it may actually have been moved or is in the process of being moved. So what we're asking people is just to be patient. We are trying to, if vehicle can just be moved to the side of the road, if it was in the middle of it, that's what we'll do. If it gives us the opportunity to clear a road. If we had to move it to an off-site parking location, that is what will happen as well. All vehicles that are being moved are being, that we're recording the information as to the license plates, the type of vehicle, and where they're being moved. So if people are looking for the vehicle and they can't find it, we will know where it is. At this time, I want to turn it over to our Dr. Gail Burstein from the Health Department to give a few more updates on what's happening with the hospitals and recommendations for folks out there.
Thanks.
Dr. Gail.
Thanks. Good morning. I just want to point out from a health standpoint, especially a public health standpoint, this has been a killer storm. We've had 6 deaths in the area, 5 of which had been preventable. Please, people, if people have underlying heart disease, even if it's well controlled with medication, even if it's just mild blood pressure and you feel well, please do not go outside and shovel the driveway. The additional stress on your heart of being outside in the cold, in addition to shoveling that heavy snow, and it is heavy out there, can cause people to have heart attacks. And we've been seeing that, and it's not just with shoveling snow, but also with snow blowing. So please, it's not worth it. In areas that are affected with snow, there are driving bans. There's nowhere to go anyway. If you really feel that you need your driveway cleared, I'm sure there are many kids in the neighborhood that would appreciate the extra couple bucks to shovel a driveway. So ask them. I mean, we have responsibility to our community to stay off the roads so they can get cleared and keep our families safe and keep ourselves safe. We have people that rely on us. So please do not go outside, do not get in your car and drive, and do not try to remove the snow from your lawn or your driveway. In addition, if you do send your kids outside, make sure that they're warmly dressed. I know my kids would love to go out in hoodies, but it's very cold outside, so make sure that they have gloves on, good boots, that their feet and their hands don't get wet. Also, you might want to consider covering their face with a scarf so they don't get frostbite. That can be a concern. Just in terms of the hospitals, I've checked in with all the hospitals' chief medical officers. So all the hospitals are open. They're a little bit challenged with staffing. Some are doing better than others, but all are staying open. I think I just want to commend all the staff at the hospitals in our area by working extra hours, even sleeping overnight in the hospitals, just so they'll be there for the next shift. The hospitals are really working hard to work with their staff to work together to keep operations going and take care of the sick people in our community. So again, 911 is responding to calls. There may be a delay, but the emergency departments are open and can take care of people when they do come into the emergency department. But again, it's an emergency department. So if you feel a little ill and you think it can wait, don't go outside. Don't try to get to the hospital. Just stay indoors. But again, the big picture, we want to stay safe. We want to stay healthy. So just stay indoors and keep it safe. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Burstein. I'd like to introduce someone who's been doing yeoman work, who's never left this location since, 1 o'clock in the morning? Monday. He was the operational incident commander of the response. Deputy Commissioner Greg Butcher, who along with our EMS coordinator, John Adolph, I think, are living here now. So, but Deputy Commissioner Butcher, would you like to give an update on the issues with regards to emergency service response?
Thank you, Councilor. Hello, everyone. I know the things that I'm going to say sound like I'm repeating what everyone else is saying, but some of them are so important that we need to continue to repeat them. Everyone talked about the weather looks somewhat clear and maybe not coming down as heavy. You need to remember that not only the first responders, such as firemen, policemen, EMS workers, but also the DPW workers, the utility people that are out trying to fix power outages, they need to use these few roads that we have open to allow us to chip away at the roads that aren't covered. Often, sometimes people forget that those roads look open and they figure, well, I'm just going to run to the store. The problem is that they're now hampering operations where we have a systematic approach to opening up roadways to allow us to bring in more equipment and allow us to facilitate this snow removal at a much faster pace. I think as long as everyone keeps that in mind, as Charlie Sickler had mentioned earlier, this is going to probably take a couple of days, but we're going to get it done, and we're doing very good job at it right now. All of our people are in overdrive to get this accomplished. We've got an incredible amount of support from neighboring counties that probably were not affected by this, and also other parts of the state. The county executive and the deputy county executive reached out to the state government, and they have also brought us an incredible amount of resources and assets. The problem is, to get them to put them to work, we need to also have means to get them in there. These are these few roads that we have open now, and we really can't afford to have them congested. We know that we have taken, as the county executive has already said earlier, we've taken the last few people that were stranded in vehicles off of the interstate, and they have now been put up and sheltered in a community that's not currently affected. That we thank those communities that are not affected, that are helping us, such as putting up shelters and affording us the respectable good neighbors trait of putting people up and taking care of them. We have a few more days of this. We know that the storm is going to come back, and it's going to lay a little more snow down in the exact area that it's already at. Our goal is to continue to chip away at this, and the more we get completed, the farther we'll be ahead. And I think that this will resolve itself in a much quicker time, as long as we have continued cooperation that we've already been receiving from the community. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg. As Greg just noted, the storm will be continuing. Once we get through this respite today to the overnight hours, it's expected to shift back into the areas that have the greatest impact, and it's anticipated, or it's possible, that another 2 to 3 feet of snow could fall, which, as I said yesterday, would be, if that happened, considering we're up to 70 inches, it seems like, in some of the communities right now, that they would actually have is equal to or more snow than what you would normally get for an entire season, and it would have happened in a 2.5-day period. So that's why the driving ban is still in effect in the communities that were impacted, because we need to be able to clean those streets as best as we can until we actually, when we get this next 2 to 3 feet of snow that'll be falling. As I said, talk about Buffalo as a city of good neighbors. The county is the same way. Unfortunately, due to the storm in Erie County, we've lost 5 of our neighbors. And we have another from Genesee County who unfortunately appears to have perished today. And that's why this is a significant storm. And if people wonder, what's the big worry? Why can't I go on the roads? Well, that's why. So I want to ask each and every one of you out there to use your common sense. If it is the area that's a driving ban, stay off the road. You will be ticketed, and there's a reason why. We have to do this work, and the best way we can accomplish this with the payloaders and Humvees and all the work that's coming in is to have clear roads without other vehicles on them. So if it is in the impacted area, you are not to drive. It's as simple as that. I know people find it to be a burden, and it is a burden to some degree. But if we get through this together, we'll get through it together a lot quicker, rather than fighting amongst ourselves and trying to deal with this because we clear a road and then we have another vehicle go down the street and get stuck. So just exercise caution, exercise common sense, and if you believe that you are in need of something, talk to a family member, talk to a neighbor. We certainly want people to ride through this as comfortably as possible. I know sitting indoors for 2 or 3 days is not always the most excitable thing to do, but it's the safest way. Glad to open up to any questions now.
The efforts to reach the elderly, how are you engaging your help in this center to rescue the elderly?
I guess the question, can I ask, when you say to rescue the elderly, what are you talking about? Are you saying there are people?
To reach the elderly, let's say in nursing homes, let's say in...
Well, if it's people in nursing homes, we would have, in all likelihood, received contact from the nursing homes that they need to usually shift out individuals. They may not have an issue with an elderly patient. They might. If they do, if they have an issue with an elderly patient, or a patient, whether it's old or not, in a nursing home that needs to go to a greater facility, such as a hospital, they should be calling 911. All the phone calls from 911 are then registered with the local police agency, and we will be moving those individuals out. If it's a nursing home that is having problems because of shifts of individuals, we're asking them to contact the health department. So the health officials can get that information, and we can then pinpoint where the nursing home is and try to assist them. We do know there was one that was dire need, And so that's why the National Guard was sent there. They had made the request. I'm not certain if every nursing home feels the same way. They may feel they can get staff in and out. But there was one that made a request saying they needed assistance to be able to just open up their facility so they could get new people in and get the people who've been working for 2 days out. So that's what happened in that situation.
Is Meals and Wheels back?
Meals and Wheels is closed for the day. We are, as I asked earlier, through social media, if you know of a senior member of your family who may be in need of food, try to find a way to get it to them. If you have a neighbor who's a senior and relies on Meals on Wheels, you might want to walk outside, especially considering the weather's not that bad right now. See if you can get next door to your neighbor and deliver them a nice little meal of hot soup or something, because often, for the seniors who receive Meals on Wheels, that is often the only hot meal they'll get in a day. And now that we're 2 days in which Meals on Wheels has been unable to deliver, if you know of a neighbor, if you've got a family member that you can get to who's a senior and relies on that service, we're asking the City of Good Neighbors, the community of good neighbors, to chip in and help out. Pete, you got a question?
Yeah, we had 2 senior centers in Chicopee, August, specifically Bell Tower Senior Complex called us with probably no heat, and Williamstown called with, because they were socked in. Often in these cases, the media gets the call before you guys do. Are you aware of those problems?
I'm not aware of it.
And what should people do?
Well, we've been listening into a live conference with Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz and various other members of his administration, letting us know the storm response and how Erie County is handling things. Some pretty important messages coming out of this news conference. One is that